Hi guys, hope you're doing well. It's been a long time without these sessions about the C programming, but today we are going to continue and we're not going to stop anymore until we finish the course. Okay, so let's do it today. As you seen before, we already studied a lot of topics on C programming, a lot of basic topics, to be honest with you. In last sessions we talked about data types, and today we will continue by studying the algorithms. This is the most interesting in programming, to know how to really create algorithms, and this is pretty amazing, to be honest with you guys. We're planning to teach you how to code very simple things. Then you'll be able to create huge stuff, like websites, games, and so on. I was explaining today in the morning to the other channel that I have why we chose the C programming language to start teaching people how to code. We chose this language because if you know how to program in C, you'll be able to code in any language. For one special reason, the C programming language was chosen to be the language to write, to code operating systems. This is the best language to manage any device that you have. And this is why I'm teaching you algorithms in C. In C you can control anything, any device, any data, and stuff like that. We already talked about data, how data works, and we talked also about data types and stuff like that. But today we are going to talk about algorithms, and then to understand how to think to produce a sequential structure with an algorithm to do stuff with some very useful exercises. So an algorithm is an ordered and an ambiguous sequence of steps to lead to the solution of a problem. If you want to solve a problem, or a program to solve a problem for you, you you create an algorithm. And we are going to create algorithms in C, but before even you think in C, you can think in your own language, in English, for example. And we can create algorithms only with pen and paper. We can create algorithms only with images. And if you have that, then you can translate easily to a programming language like C. This is why if you learn one language and you know how to code very well in that, you're able to code in any language. I repeat that. That's very important. So the programming logic allows you to use the coherence, rationality. Why do it and know another way? You will be able to think the best way to solve a problem, or several ways to solve a problem. This is better. You can have a solution, the other guy another solution, then you can discuss and find some common points in order to reach a goal. Even if you work for a company, for a big project, you will not work for yours, only for you. You'll be discussing with other guys, reviewing each other's codes. That's how the programming engineer works in everyday life. Most programming language use case sensitive. Case sensitive to make difference between uppercase and lowercase. That's very useful to be used to that, because there are languages that if you write, for example, our we lowercase a is the same to write our with uppercase. This is bad because that can lead to ambiguation and bugs. So there are good programming practices. We need to practice every day nesting and comments. By nesting is to organize the code in order anyone can read that easily. And the comments also allow people to understand, even you, when you come back to your code uh, months or years later, you can understand your own code. Because right now we are writing small pieces of code, but in the future, you're going to be writing codes with the dozens and hundreds of lines of codes. So different representation of algorithms. We have the narrative description, we have flowchart and pseudocode. Narrative description is just to describe your algorithm or your solution in words. That can be in English or any other language. Flowchart. In flowcharts, we use diagrams to present a logic, a sequence of steps to solve the problem. In pseudocode, we have some kind of syntax, some conventional syntax that we use to create the steps of the problem, but that doesn't need to be in any language. That can be in English, for example. So in order to reach these goals, narrative description, flowchart, or pseudocode, you choose one, whatever you want about your relate to your purposes. You need these three structures all the time. Let's imagine that you have a robot that is going to Mars. And the goal of that robot, so the first goal, is to find a place where the temperature is something like 30 degrees. So in this case, you need to write a sequence of steps for your robot to follow. For example, go forward, go back, go to the right, to the left, stop, and stuff like that. This is sequence. This is thinking sequentially. And then for condition, we mean decision. Your robot, your program, will need to take some decisions. For example, it should be able to understand when the temperature is below or over some threshold, some value, and you can decide based on that value. For example, if the value is below or equal to 30, then stop. This is a decision. Your robot, your programs will need to take lots of decisions over and over. But the repetitive structure is very important as well, because sometimes while is the key word, while, for loops, repetition. While my robot didn't find the goal, the temperature below some threshold in Mars, then keep walking, keep turning around, keep going to the left, to the right, keep stopping, keep analyzing repeatedly. So this is the loop. This is the flow chart. We talked about narrative description, flow chart, and so the code to do this in three ways, three different forms. The flow chart is something like this. Here we should have a circle, and here as well. And these are the tasks, okay? In flow chart, we do that. We also have representations for loop and condition, but we don't need them right now. So this is a pseudocode. For example, you have your algorithm name, you have the begin, the algorithm, and the algorithm, and then here you have those squares, these tasks, you have them here. These are the tasks. So this is a pseudocode. As you see, it is written in English. We don't have any symbol which is not English. But here in the language, in C, for example, you have a comment here, another comment here. The comments don't belong to the source code, to this code, but they are very important for you to understand them. So this is the begin and end in C. Now this is not English. although we use these symbols in English as well, but in English this doesn't mean begin, in this as well doesn't mean end. Yeah, that's the point. So in here we are going to put all the comments that we already used in the previous lessons. So let's go to the next. This is the last one. Yeah, hopefully. So this is, then after this we are going to solve the exercises, some of them, and then don't forget to subscribe to our channels, Tekniikka, High Tech, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Thank you for watching, and let's go to the exercises. So read the number and display it's double. It's double. I wrote double, yeah. Let's go to how can I, yeah, that's that. So let's see some way we can code. For example, here, let me remove this. This is already in C. Imagine that you need to, the exercise is telling us to ask for a number, enter a number. The user is going to enter a number, and then we need to scanf that number. We need the position in the memory of that number. But where's the number? We need to declare the number here. So let's say a double number, and the user is going to enter the number, and we can do whatever we want with this number. So this is the beginning of the algorithm, and these are the sequence. These are the steps of the sequence that we are studying now. So now we can put a printf, and in here we are going to say that the double of the number is equals to what? Is equals to sum. The percentage symbol means sum. I like to say that sum value. Which value? This is a float, but not a single float. This is a long float because it's a double. And then in here we are going to put the second parameter, which is the double of the number. Number multiplied by 2. Number times 2 is the double of the number. So in here we have the number, but we need to say which kind of number. In the first parameter you have here, the kind of number is double, long float. So either printf and, or let's say both scanf and printf need two parameters. The first one is the format. This is the format of the number that you need, and here you put the number. You could also, instead of printing here the multiplication, you could before declare here a variable, some kind of double, or multiply, something like that, and you can do that. You can do that, 2 times number, and that's fine. Now you can use this here or that directly. If you want to use directly, I can comment this value here. This is not part of the code anymore. So in this case, enter a number, number 3. The double of number 3 is 6. It's saying 6 with some decimals. We can take the decimals here. You can say, I only need 2 decimals, not a lot of decimals. So in this case, you will have only, no, that's not fine. I don't know why I do have here a lot of decimals because I forgot to put the dot here. So let's say 5. The double 5 is 10. 10 with 2 decimals, you see? Yeah. So the second exercise is to read the numbers and calculate and display their sum. You know how to do that, man. The only problem is we read only one number. Let's read 2. Number 1 and number 2. This is number 2, and this is number 1. Number 1 and number 2. Okay, number 2. Yeah, enter 2 numbers. 2 numbers. And with the numbers, number 1, number 2, you could also put the 2 numbers in the same scanf. You would need to put here the 2. So we want to calculate what? The sum, the multiplication, the division, whatever. Let's start by the multiplication of the 2 numbers. We have number 1 and number 2. Number 1, number 2. Yeah, I don't need this. If you want, you can put in another variable and then you just print here the variable. So let's go. We have number 2 and number 3. The multiplication, what is that? 6. Okay, that's solve the exercise. This is the sequence of steps to solve that problem. Then if you want to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius, you have this formula here. Pretty easy. You just receive the value in Fahrenheit, then you subtract from this value 32 and then multiply by this. This is a bit tricky. Be careful, because in here, if you do like this, you can get 0. Not to get 0, just make one of these 2 values a float. So do that and put in the comments, please. In here, you can calculate the area of the triangle. You have the base and the height. You just need to multiply them and then divide by 2. You have the area of the triangle. Let's do something about the area of a circle. Yeah, the area of a circle is something like this. Let's do that. This is what are we going to receive for a circle? For a circle, we have the radius. Okay, we have the radius. Enter the radius of the circle. So we have the radius, and here radius, and in here we can compute the area. Remember that now we are going to have a variable starting with capital A. So what do we have? The area is P, but we don't know. C doesn't know this symbol. So you need a P constant here. And the radius is going to be that variable. The radius should be the power of 2. Yeah, radius times the radius itself. So this is the area of the triangle. But before we need to define this. Let's define it here. Define. I didn't talk about with you about macros yet, but we can talk later. It is a macro. If I say define P and 2.14, 15, and blah blah blah, the C preprocessor. In C we have something called preprocessor. We have the preprocessor here. Yeah, we have the C preprocessor. It's the same for C++. And then we have the C compiler. There are a lot of compiler, GCC, Clang or Clang, and so on. After you compile the code is going to be translated into assembly. Then you have the assembler. The assembler is going to mount the assembly code into object code. Yeah, this is an object, and the object is going to be linked to machine code. We are going to talk about this later. Machine code, zeros and one, because the processor, the computer processor, only understands machine code, zeros and one. But now we are only talking about the preprocessor, which is going to replace this value in here. So now we have the double, and let's say a scanner, a printf, and here we can do, we say area is the array of the circle is equals to this variable, and then we have this long double as well. Sorry, long float. That's not long double. That will be long integer because D stands for digit, not for double. Double, long float. Let's see if everything is fine. I don't think so. Yeah, what do we have? What's the problem? We have double. What's the problem? Let's find the problem here. Let's see the formula. We have, yeah, that's fine. But let's find out the problem logically. So we have P times blah, blah, blah. It's saying stray, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let me do something like 3 dot blah, 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 just to see that. No, it's not working because we have another problem. So let's see what the problem is. Yeah, the problem, let's see. Let's comment this. Since I'm not seeing the problem, I'm just commenting. Yeah, this is a good practice. Just comment. Yeah, I commented, and I know that the problem is not here. That's not the problem. Let's enter the number and do nothing. Do nothing because we comment this. This is not part of the code anymore. Now we do this. Double area is going to be equals to pi times radius times radius. What's the problem in that? Let me try to do with parentheses. I don't think so. I don't think the problem is that. I think I made a mistake, but I didn't see yet. So okay, I understand now. Since I have copied this code from the slide, there are some strange characters, but here we have some strange characters that we need to delete from here. You are not seeing because they are non-printable characters which have been put here somehow by mistake. This is weird. This is weird, but let's do it manually. So double, the very same. Double is the area is equals to pi times radius times radius. Now it's working. I'm pretty sure because yeah, it's doing nothing because of this line. Now we have the last line and we can do that. So let's see, if you have a circle, I would like to teach you how to draw the circle in the screen here. That would be great. That would be funny. We'll do that. So not in this lesson. Now you just put the 3, for example, you have we are talking about centimeters. If this is centimeters, yeah, something like this circle. Okay, because no, something like this. We have a 3 for the radius. Yeah, that's 3 centimeters. Yeah, that's fine. Something like this. And then we did 3 radius. Yeah, we have a timeout. I don't know why. This is pretty weird. Then you have 19. 19 is the area. The full area, 19 centimeters, is the full area of something like this. 19 not centimeters, power 3. This is something like that. You have printf. Yeah, that's fine. What about the diameter? You know, I have this capital A. This is case sensitive. If you do that, you have a compiler error. So you need to put as case sensitive, because C is case sensitive, as most of the serious languages. Any language which is not case sensitive is not serious. So you have something like, this is the area of the, now the diameter. The diameter of the circle is gonna be something like radius times 2, just like that. This is the diameter of the circle. Just that. For the very same circle, this is the diameter. So I think now we can take another look at what, given two sides of a rectangle, just compute the area of a square of a rectangle, and then please try to work with percentages, weighted values. Just solve those last problems, and please, all the problems that we didn't solve, let me know if you can solve by your own, and put in the comments. I forgot to show you something very important. For example, if you don't want to define this pi, you have something like, let me go back. The pi. I don't know if I can go back. Let me go. That's my pi, something like that. Let me see. Yeah, I forgot the name of the variable, and I need it. That's called, that's called what? MPy. Yeah, this is MPy. MPy is a macro which is already defined in math.h. Include math.h. In here you have this, which is the full pi. So use this instead of defining here yourself. So thank you for watching. Subscribe to Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. I'll see you later. And we are presenting our website. Our website is www.tekniikka3m.com. So this is a website that we are going to build together. The domain is already hosted in our own server, in our lab. You are going to know everything. You are going to learn about Arduino, Raspberry Pi, servers, some kind of cybersecurity, cryptocurrency, stuff like that. But please, if you go to this website and you put something like your name, for example, math.tekniikka3m.com, something like that, you are going to have results on that as well. I will teach you how to use this website on your behalf. You can use, and you can have some place there to put your stuff, and we are going to learn very good stuff together. Thank you very much.